The purpose of recording this session is so that we can make it available on Council's website and is available to others who may not be able to attend these information sessions. My name is Christine White. I'm the Manager for Capital Projects, and also in attendance from the City of Boroondara is Prudence, Sam and Hannah, who represent both project managers and our client area that will be looking after the pool once it's actually implemented and managing the tenants within those facilities. We have Matt Hewitt here tonight from ADCO, as well as Jackson Roeder, and they're here to be presenting the CMP that they have developed. And with us tonight also is Scott Allen from William Ross Architects, the architects for the project. The intent of today is to share with local residents the proposed access and egress to the site to ensure both a safe work site and enable construction of a significant community facility, the Kew Recreation Centre, that we hope that you will all get to enjoy upon completion. Council had intended to limit site access via High Street. However, through the detailed analysis recently undertaken by ADCO, it has become clear this goal is not achievable. The Kew Rec Centre covers the majority of the site, and you'll see shortly a presentation through ADCO, and it will give you images that clearly demonstrate that sort of almost 90% of the site is actually under built form. And due to this, as well as the pool infrastructure being located in the northeast section of the site off Disraeli Street, it requires significant movements for steel members and trusses to be loaded to facilitate the construction of the pool, the three pools themselves. ADCO has worked and reworked a number of CMPs to fully map out all logistics to make this project a reality. Today we want to share the CMP that distributes the impact of construction across all the 3 street frontages, and the images that you will see are quite detailed, combination of both 3D and 2D to illustrate why we require the use of the local streets to enable both safe construction and the movement of traffic. You'll see to the bottom right corner there's a function called chat, and to the right of that there's 3 little buttons. If you click on those 3 little buttons, you should be able to see a Q&A function. At the end of the presentation or throughout it, you can start to type in under that Q&A function any questions that you may have for us to respond to. Following the briefing session, Council will be sending an updated information bulletin out to be mailed to local residents to inform of the pending CMP for those residents who have not been able to make it to one of the information sessions. This facility, the Kew Recreation Centre, is a multi-generational facility to support an active community, and it is to be constructed over multi-years. 2 years, 2 months is the estimated time frame. I will now hand over to Matt Hewitt from ADCO Constructions to take you through the CMP proposed. Thank you.
Thank you, Christine. Good evening, everyone. Christine, if you could just change over host duties to Jackson.
Thanks, Jackson.
Yep. Just give me a second. This is what took us, why I wanted to pass it over to you. Just holding on, just waiting for the share button to allow me share the presentation.
Go to the first page. Next one. So once again, good evening, everyone. My name is Matthew Hewitt. I'm the Senior Project Manager for ADCO. ADCO is the main contractor and the delivery partner for Boroondara Council for Kew Recreation Centre. I'm very pleased to be able to present to you this afternoon. The slide you see here is there are 4 3D images viewing from the south of the project. So that is from the residential area below High Street. These 3D images constitute months of work. We've modelled the entire job, and you can see 4 key phases: May 2021, July 2021, January 22, September 22. This model was developed for the life of the project and has been overlaid with our construction methodology and our program, creating a fully functioned 4D image or 4D model that shows at any given time where we should be as far as delivery of the project. The key takeaways here, if you want to move to the other one. So this is the view from Derby Place of those similar timeframes. The real key to take away from these images is 2 things. One is the project is boundary to boundary, road to road. Okay, so we're very limited for space. We have to access every face of the project or every elevation to complete the actual physical works. And you can see the size and scale of both the project, the physical massing, the quantum of deliveries, and the number of men, which we'll go through a little bit later. And the second part of this, and this is probably the key for us being able to produce a CMP or construction management plan, is the full review and understanding of the design, because the design dictates the build speed, the materials, the subcontractors, the program, the methodology in which we're going to adopt. So this project is fundamentally driven through a critical path, which are the 4 pools. The 4 pools are located in the northeast of where that red ring is, which is off Disraeli Street. The unusual aspect of this design is the 4 pools sit on the elevated level 1 slab inside the building, therefore creating a requirement for the structure to be complete so the roof can be on, to allow the pools to be constructed in a watertight scenario, to allow a water-free curing period. So what that actually means is the program is being driven by the pool activities, and the pool activities come on very late in this program because the structure needs to be complete. So the 2 takeaways here are: design is the basis that dictates the way we build, and the fact that this project is fundamentally bigger than what was the existing Kew Rec Centre. So apart from design, the key principles that we've adopted, and this is, I think Christine was very polite, this is probably our 10th go at creating this construction management plan. The principles were, we tried to stay as true to possible with the tendered methodology and program, delivering the best possible completion date, engaging the best principles we could to ensure safe construction, the best site coverage of our single tower crane, and minimising impact to all neighbours. It didn't matter who or what street. We considered the shared impact to access roads utilising High Street. High Street was not something that we first considered because it is managed and owned by Department of Transport, not council, but it offers the main relief and the spread of load or spread of delivery load through the 3 main roads. We've managed to significantly reduce the traffic on Disraeli Street from the original construction management plan at tender. We've got minimal use of Derby Street, and I'll go through the reasons why in a second. We've got alignment with the original arborist report and the landscape design as it stands now, and we've got a fundamental better consideration for all user groups. So this slide that you're seeing right now demonstrates the real considerations and restrictions when we were first assessing how we were going to build and deliver the project. So starting up in the top left-hand corner, looking at Derby Street. Derby Street is not an ideal street for construction or construction traffic. It's narrow, it's got parking on both sides. It has traffic islands with planting that separate the parked cars. It has low power lines, and the main power lines, both LV and HV, are on the project side of the road. It is a distinctly unfavourable access route. Moving round into Derby Place, there is a resident with an egress or access right from Derby Place into a private garage. Derby Place shares the main access to Coles shoppers and their parking facility, and it's governed or managed by a full intersection and traffic lights that set the pace and the tone of the traffic entering Derby Place. So moving around to High Street, we're now looking at and anticipating establishing within the first 6 months of the project an access gate off High Street. And as I said, this is the main relief to Disraeli Street. There has been a requirement for us to increase the capacity of our initial slab in that southern zone where the cursor is now. Thank you. To allow us to bring heavier traffic. It also allows us to get traffic and trucks with some of the precast elements and steel closer to the tower crane mast so that we can lift from the truck. If we move around into Disraeli Street, Disraeli Street is obviously a council managed street. It's a wide street. The power lines are on the opposite side of the road to the project. It is basically the preferred road to access, egress, deliver materials. However, we've moved away from sole reliance on Disraeli Street to give this more equitable and even share across all the access roads that you can see right now. And just before we move off this slide, that yellow area to the top right-hand corner of the site, that denotes the pools. That is the critical path. That's the program driver for the project. So that constitutes the most work, and it also constitutes the longest and latest work that will be undertaken. So the rest of the project will be complete before that yellow area is fundamentally finished. So it starts first and finishes last because the pools drive the program. So this is our traffic management plan that forms part of our construction management plan. As I said, when I go into the numbers and percentages and uses, I haven't included Derby Street just because it will need to be accessed, but it's going to be limited access. It's not going to be general deliveries. It'll be plant or equipment, and it'll be passing through that gate 2 where the cursor is right now. Beside that is our main entrance later in the project for workers. So the workers will use Derby Street just to walk down from public transport to access their accommodation, lunchrooms, ablutions and offices. If we move around into Derby Street, there is in the hatched yellow, that is one of our main access points into the job and loading platforms. We will maintain the dual laneways in Derby Street as much as we possibly can. We've met with Coles. We understand their needs. They understand ours. And we will do our best to make sure that that road, albeit that it will be busy in the first 6 months, will remain relatively unchanged in the traffic condition. The grey area, the dark grey area constitutes the slab upgrade or the increased capacity of the ground level concrete slab, allowing us to access firstly from Derby Place in that gate. And then later, once we've established the crossover and the traffic management plan with Department of Transport, it'll later allow us to do the single loop system from High Street out into Disraeli Street and back up onto High Street. There is the blue in the top in the bottom right hand corner is our early site establishment. So that will be our early offices, ablution, lunchrooms, which after the first 6 months will move down underneath the basketball courts in a more permanent manner for the duration of the project. So back onto Disraeli Street, we still will be bringing traffic down Disraeli Street. It has been fundamentally reduced. The hatched area there is basically the lay-by or truck delivery zone. where the permanent gate will ultimately be. And we have another gate to the north of that, which is gate 3. Again, that is for access in to establish and build the substation. The bottom picture represents what Disraeli Street will look like. You'll still have both lanes of traffic. You'll have parking on the right-hand side, parking on the left-hand side. For the perimeter length of our project will be suspended, and that will become a project delivery bay. And we will have traffic management running that side of Disraeli Street as well as High Street to make sure that we don't disrupt the traffic movements any further than what we've just been through. So our traffic management plan has been established with Cardno Consulting, traffic management specialists. We've worked tirelessly with Cardno to develop the numbers, the swept paths, the access routes, and everything that is part of this presentation today. So just going from the top, these are the significant stages or the transitional points of the project. We have excavation, piling, retention systems, early March, moving into June, which is the concrete element or the reinforced concrete structure. In March 22, we move more into the structural steel, the roof and the facade, which is the external skin, the envelope. In January, is the internal fit out and the finishes. October is generally the landscaping, external works and commissioning. So if we move across the screen, we've got number of workers as an estimated number. We're expecting somewhere at a peak of 150 on site in that period that we're doing the pools and the internal fit out. The next column is the truck movements or the trucks per day, deliveries per day. The only one to note there is in the reinforced concrete structure where it says 20 with an asterisk. That's because that would increase on a concrete pour day to 40. So on days that we're pouring concrete, only through the period that we are pouring concrete, those given days will go from 20 to 40. The percentages in the orange represent the splits of those numbers or those truck numbers per day in percentage per road. As I said, I didn't include Derby Street because it will not be relied upon for general construction, delivery and access. Disraeli Street, Derby Place and High Street will form the main construction, delivery and access points. Just to add to that, when vehicles are having to deliver or access Disraeli Street, they will continue once they've discharged their delivery will head down to Disraeli Street. We expect and have been advised by Cardno, based upon the subcontractors and the types of materials that we've procured, approximately 50% will turn right to do the loop back up onto High Street, and another 50% will continue on to the freeway. That is basically the presentation for this afternoon, and I'll do my best to answer any and all questions. Thank you.